ISIS. So now we have the Afghanistan situation, and I think it's really interesting how we have Biden, which seems to be going along with whatever China does. His family has ties to China, and it's kind of strange because now we see that he basically let Taliban take Afghanistan. And what's the problem with that? And where does China and everything get involved? Well, China gets involved because they're backing the Taliban. And the Taliban just freed the ISIS prisoners in the jails. And what's the problem with all this? Well, Afghanistan has over $3 trillion worth of materials, earth materials, rare earth materials, that can be used for building anything from metals to medicines to, you know, everything from zinc to iron, you name it, oil, and those over $3 trillion worth of resources would be a huge amount and would be a huge hand to China. And if China starts taking over Afghanistan and they have the Taliban and ISIS working for them because of the promises and deals they make with them, which they're already overzealous, so they'd probably be easy to convince them the way China does things. And then they can go into Pakistan. They already have radicals and stuff in Pakistan as well. And if Pakistan falls, that's right next to India. And I told you before how there's a problem between India and China. In fact, right on the border there have been skirmishes for the past couple months now, past couple years really. And what's important about that? Well, if you scroll down here, you see how the Indian Ocean is called the Indian Ocean because there's India right there. And if all those ports get built, now this gives access to China globally across everything, especially if they wanted to create a navy to take over that area and send out submarines and whatever they want, because they've been pumping out submarines, but they have kind of a problem here because right here with Japan, they have all these little islands here, and then they have Taiwan, and then they have the Philippines right here, and then Malaysia in here. So they're almost, in a sense, kind of landlocked in a way where there's ports and U.S. bases on all these islands, a lot of them anyway, and Japan has them. So there's kind of a wall that's being built right here. And underneath that, then we have Guam, where we have U.S. bases there. And that's kind of there to kind of protect Australia a bit. But Australia has already had a stranglehold on by China for a while now. China has a stranglehold on Australia because a lot of the imports and stuff that Australia gets comes from China nowadays. So that's why this whole thing is kind of a mess. And the islands that are in there, I've already gone over a lot of this in other videos. So check out Belt and Road Initiative video to find out more about that. And as you can see, like the more time goes on, the more things kind of turn in favor of China, and this is why they're becoming kind of a big threat here. They've been hacking other countries like crazy. They've been gathering everything, so they've been able to mimic their economy to further themselves. They're becoming more independent and self-dependent. They have the largest say, or as a nation, a particular nation, in the United Nations. WHO, they have a huge influence on WHO, the World Health Organization. They have prevented Taiwan from joining the United Nations for the longest time. They have almost no input into the WHO organization. They have backing behind Taliban and the ISIS, which now has United States military equipment. They want the resources that Afghanistan has. They're going to push the Belt and Road Initiative into other countries. They're going to gain more resources. Other countries are going to come in debt to China. So now China is going to be able to do what they want with them. So it's really becoming a huge mess. And a lot of this is enabled because of what happened in Afghanistan. And it seems like Biden kind of just handed it over to them and gave it to them with the lives of many people, and Americans and people from other countries. Like, this is why this is such a big problem. This is why that the growth of China and the loss of Afghanistan is a huge problem. Because look what that does. That pretty much connects China to the rest of the Middle East. If you go into Afghanistan, you literally have connections to all these countries going around. If you do that with any other country, it doesn't work. Like, if you look at it, you know, we have all these other countries surrounding. The one country that would benefit you the most to take over would be Afghanistan, because not only do they have over $3 trillion worth of material, but now you can literally build railways to every single one of these countries, and you can gather all the resources from the Middle East directly into there, funnel it all into there, and away from India. Like, do you see what the problem is here? It's not just a country in the Middle East. And then what happens if you do that? Like, this is why it's so dangerous, because now Afghanistan can be the hub for the rest of the Middle East, and then you can actually make your way into Russia here, Kazakhstan, and now you can have a large trading settlement with Russia, which is just a positive for probably both of them, to be honest. And then you can start building railways that go into Saudi Arabia, and especially if ISIS militants go crazy and take over, and they're backed by China, or a number of other things happen, like Iran and Iraq. If you go for those three, because think about this too, you got to remember that Iran and China work together a lot. You know, China actually protects a lot of the Iranian pirate boats that go out here and raid different nations' boats. So that's the missing link, is Afghanistan. If China goes for Afghanistan, does some sort of deal with Iran, and now they're able to freely flow through here, they can gather all the resources from the Middle East, they can cut off India, so now India is going to be in debt to them, even though that's what they tried to avoid. Now you can go through Iraq, and you can go right past Saudi Arabia, you can go right into Egypt. You know, especially now there's a whole nother thing going on between like Egypt and Ethiopia, and this entire thing that they're building, which is backed by China too, with their whole Belt and Road Initiative. You know, if Ethiopia cuts off the rivers that flow into Egypt, Egypt is going to be at the mercy of whoever is controlling Ethiopia. This is all of this is why it's extremely bad, the amount of growth China has and the fall of Afghanistan. That's the whole problem here. You know, it's not just like, oh, now we have like terrorists and Taliban running around killing people. It's like, if that country gets lost to China, goodbye Middle East. So I kind of trying to put all this into perspective, and why the behavior of the administration of the United States has been very odd lately, and it seems like everything that the Biden has done has helped China massively. We have just armed Afghanistan, which is being backed by China, with United States military. And all this is happening before the ceremonial 20-year anniversary of 9/11. I want people to see and understand the whole economic situation.